Rust, brokenness, and decay are conditions that are often thought of or characterized as negative. But I find beauty in all of them, especially as our everyday surroundings become by the day less rusty and less broken, and where decay is hidden or quickly done away with, replaced by the shiny and the new. Rust is a reminder, a humbler of humanity. We make walls, fences, barriers, we make them strong. But time and the elements are the ultimate winners. They laugh at our impenetrable barriers, and they do away with them little by little. I like that reminder. Brokenness is an inspiration. When we see something broken, we are often inspired to fix it, to make it better, make it work again. Or sometimes things just stay broken. We can't always fix everything. And sometimes broken things are more interesting, more inspiring because of their very brokenness. Decay is an inevitability. While some grand monuments of the past seem immortal, like the pyramids or the Great Wall of China, even these are decaying. And obviously, so many of the things that surround us are decaying, just as we ourselves, as we age, are undeniably decaying. I've been documenting rust, brokenness, and decay here in Tokyo for the past 25 years. One thing about Tokyo that many forget or never learn due to unfamiliarity with the nooks and crannies is that the gleaming, shiny, futuristic metropolis so many associate with the name Tokyo is not the whole story. When I think of Tokyo, I'm more likely to think of these kinds of scenes as opposed to the gleaming towers of Shinjuku or other business districts. The parts of Tokyo most familiar and beloved to me are the humble, low-rise areas, including Shitamachi, which means the old downtown. That's what I've called home for a quarter of a century now. And I feel fortunate when I happen upon a decrepit old abandoned house like this one and manage to document it photographically, because I know it will likely be gone next week or a month or a year from now. But it represents to me lives lived and architectural aesthetics which are dead and almost gone. These flimsy sliding doors, mostly glass, with their spindly wooden frames, these used to be sufficient at street level as front doors of dwelling places or shops. Those few remaining ones that we still see scattered around town, their days are numbered, but they remind us of a different era that lingers on only as a fleeting architectural memory. And we see how folks who still inhabit some of these creaky old houses, many of them little more than shacks really, struggle to keep them from falling apart around them. Some are literally held together by duct tape and a prayer. Then you pass the same place next week, sure enough, it's gone. Speaking of empty lots, the sudden new view one gets when some old building inevitably goes down often gives one a new perspective for a little while of the back of some other old place that will once again be out of sight once the new building goes up. I never miss a chance to snap those views in those brief windows of opportunity. Moving in closer to old houses like these, we often find these curious little old metal plaques nailed to the woodwork near the doors. I'm not always familiar with what they represent. Some sort of identification, some mark of registration declared mandatory by the local government, perhaps. I'm not sure. Another aspect of rust and decay that I rarely fail to notice in my travels around town are old signs. I love the combination of rust and the other degradations wrought by the elements onto old signs full of kanji characters that I can't, sorry to say, even read in the first place. Mystery upon mystery. Here's another old sign. Its message is slowly being lost to the ravages of time. There's no way for me to resist taking a photo of something so beautiful. I find it poetic. If your mental image of Tokyo is informed strictly by movies like Lost in Translation or the ubiquitous shots of the scramble crossing in front of Shibuya Station, this won't be the kind of thing that screams Tokyo to you. You'd be more likely to guess it's from some old barn in Tennessee or something. But this is the micro-level Tokyo that my eye is continually drawn to. Like this rusty old mail slot, a ubiquitous feature of old houses around town. How many letters pass through it? How many New Year's cards? And how many more to come? Probably not too many more. Here's another expert broken glass repair job. I'd argue that the person who did this is a true artist with the adhesive, obviously going for a whimsical 9-tentacled octopus motif. Nice job. Rust and peeling paint. Now I'm in heaven. I like how this could be some aerial view of another planet's surface, but it's just around the corner from my house. Another abandoned building soon to meet the wrecking ball. Here in Tokyo, we sometimes see that certain aspect of plant life slowly reclaiming abandoned structures. And I like to document that whenever I come across it. Again, this isn't the sort of image we associate with the buzzing metropolis, but if you look for it, you might find it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little window onto a lesser-known aspect of our big old Tokyo town. The part that's rusty, broken, and decaying, and soon to be gone forever. The new generation of prefab housing with its awful plastic siding won't age in the ways we've seen here. Alas, such is progress. Now, aside from snapping pictures of this funky old stuff, I do play music. I write and sing songs, and I hope you'll check out some of my stuff at my website, polarityrecords.com. Also at the site, you'll find a great number of curated galleries that I've put together, all sorts of stuff that you might find of interest. Please visit, and thanks for listening, friends.